Good evening and welcome to our 11th Rise and Shine webinar. It's Think Big and Act Long Term. And my name is Matthew Zimtimbuk as usual. And on the console, our technical assistant, engineer, as usual, is Revelation Nyirongo, who has been supporting me from the very first of the series of Rise and Shine in 2021. First of all, just a couple of disclaimers. Rise and Shine webinar started during COVID time in 2021, and we've done 10 before. This is the 11th one. And number two, given that recently I joined politics, just to assure everybody that this is non-partisan and has no political agenda at all. So feel free. We are here at a time where we want to inspire each other, to motivate each other to succeed in life. Number three, these webinars are motivational talks. Therefore, we love positive energy, not negative energy. I've noticed that since I joined politics, 2-3 people who come here for their own agendas and trying to write negative comments and things. Please, this is not a political forum. If you come for politics, please walk away, leave us alone. We are here for motivation. Thank you very much. So in terms of outline, we'll look at how you can develop your personal long-term vision, and then we'll also look at how you can think big. And as we look at how you can think big, we'll look also at the do's and don'ts for thinking big, and then we'll move on to the power of determination. Because without determination, you cannot think big. And then in the end, we'll look at what I call the cabinet reshuffle, by which I mean the people around you matter a lot. The people around you determine how far you go in life. Now let's go to the first section, which is developing long-term vision. This is a personal long-term vision. So you start by asking yourself, what is my purpose in life? Or rather, by the end of my life, what will I have achieved? What have I contributed to the world? And they say, Mau Amalenga, you become what you say. It has been said by various people that both brothers, Bingu Mtarika the late and Arthur Peter Mtarika, when they were primary school students, wrote on a Mlambe tree that they will rule this country of Malawi long ago, in the 1960s or thereabouts. And when I met Peter Mtariki a couple of years ago, I asked him to confirm, and he said, yes, we did write that in primary school. Did they not rule Malawi? They did. So what it means, therefore, is that when you set your long-term vision and you believe it and you always say it, you will become it. It is already becoming your long-term vision. So therefore, you need to ask yourself, where do I want to be by the age of 30? What do I want to achieve by the age of 40? What do I want to achieve by the age of 50? I am 46, turning 47 this year. I'm already asking myself, by the age of 50, what will I have achieved? And what about 60 years, God-giving? God, we live to God when we will be on earth, but we assume we'll live a full life. So you ask yourself, by the age of 60, where will I be? What will I have achieved? And then what is the main thing that you are always chasing? You know, if you're working, every day you go to work, you're given work to do for that day, for that week. But at a personal level, what is the long-term big thing that you're doing? Is it you're building a big house, you're building a lodge for business, or you're farming? We'll come to that. But the question is, what one big thing are you doing? When I was working for Shell, I had my role model and also the person who's mentoring me, Dot Graham. And each time I go to the UK, I meet her. And I remember when I went back to the UK about 10 years ago, we were chatting. She was asking me, what am I doing in Malawi and things. And then she said to me, very strikingly, she said, you told me these many things you're doing, but I want you next time you come here, you must tell me the one big thing that you're chasing. So every one of us must always at every time have one big thing that they are chasing. Now, when you're chasing one big thing, be mindful about chasing money as an end, because you will discover, maybe in football, for example, Ronaldo or Messi, Haaland, all these guys, they may have earned a lot of money, but they were not really chasing money. they were they were enjoying, or they are enjoying, good football. And as they enjoy good football, money just comes on its own. So when we're talking about success, you need to identify something that you have passion for, something that you love, and you want to do it to the best of your ability, to increase it, to climb the ladders. Then money comes on its own. But people who keep chasing money as an end, they usually don't really achieve it, because they're losing the game. Instead of focusing on the game itself, they're focusing on the money. So let money be the byproduct of what you're doing. And then, in the same vein, mind the speed. There is no shortcuts to success. These days, you have prophets who say quick money, quick get rich, and all these kind of things. You just get in trouble or in prison. We are talking about organized way of achieving greatness or big things. Now let's look at dreaming in color. Research shows that when we sleep at night, these days we dream in color. But it is said that up to 1960s, most people, most human beings dreamt in black and white. It's only 1960s that this now started to shift. So people started now to dream in color. Now, three-quarters of the people dream in color most of the times. However, there are still some people who dream in black and white only. As to what and why, you can do research. But now let's go to the day dreaming, visioning. We're talking about dreams of what you want to be, what you want to achieve. It is the same. You remember, if we're talking about dreaming in color, you remember Bingu Antarika, when he became president of Malawi. He kept saying, let us as Malawians dream in color. And did he not dream in color? He did. Look at the things he did. So when you're dreaming in color, it means, number one, you are dreaming big, really big. You want to achieve big things, you're not afraid. Number two, it means that you are progressive. Every time you want to get better and bigger. And it means you are alive to the present. You're not living in the past. You are in the present, active, agile, and energetic, and positively minded. And also your dreams are complete. It means you leave no stone unturned. You plan very meticulously. And when researchers look at people who dream in color and people who dream in black and white, what they observe as a major difference is that those who dream in color are emotionally connected with the dream. So when you're dreaming in color, in terms of vision and planning and ambition, it means that you are also emotionally connected with your dream. You really passionately believe in your dream. Now let's move to thinking big. When you want to think big, what should you do? Number one, you need to study the people that have already achieved big things. Read their profiles, follow them. When I was a young professional at Shell in Scotland, I spent a lot of time reading profiles of people who have achieved a lot. And it was one of the many or several reasons that made me decide to come back home. Because I discovered that time that more than 90% of people who have achieved big things stayed in their home countries, not abroad. Okay, don't talk about Elon Musk. He's one of the outliers, definitely. But he's American anyway, although he came from South Africa. We know those were his roots. So most of the people who have achieved a lot of big things have done it in their home country. And that was one of the reasons I said, if I want to do big things, I need to go back home. If you look at the World Cup, do you know that up to now, the World Cup has always been won by a coach who is from that country? So a foreign coach does not win a World Cup. If it is Argentina, they need to have a coach from Argentina. If it is Brazil, you need a Brazilian coach. When teams have had a foreigner, they've never won. So already you have the data there. It means even at a personal level, when you want to achieve something big, look at people who have achieved big things and study their profile. How did they do it? What did they go through? What challenges did they meet? And how did they solve those problems? Because you meet problems and you want to learn from them, not just the how of solving problems, but also the inspiration that it is possible to deal with the obstacles. And we'll talk about Tom Pingenjera later, how I learned from him that doing big things is possible and how you can deal with the obstacles. Number two is you need to be confident. Big dreamers are human beings like you. So do not be afraid. Be confident that they started like you, they started small. Do not just believe in yourself and be confident. When you're dreaming big, you need to dream big. Then that dream, increase it until it is so big that it scares you. You even wonder, is it really me who wants to do this? and then say yes, because the biggest things that have happened in the world, they were done by human beings like you and me. So there's no reason to fear. They're not the supernatural. They are not aliens from Mars. They were born by woman. They were raised by their parents on this same soil. So we have no reason to doubt ourselves. And once you believe, once you start to dream big, any thoughts that come to your mind, you must test them and weigh them on the scale of bigness. Is this thought or idea big enough? Because now you've gone in the realm category of big thinkers. Your mind is about big things. Your mind is about doing and achieving big things. If you look around yourself, you find that there are people who are always doing big things. They have become big thing doers. And now, if you graduate into that category, that club of big doers, you should not entertain small thoughts. You should not spend a lot of time on small things. I'm not saying never do small things. You still do some small things, but they should not be the mainstay of what you do. And it means now you spend more time with people who think and do big things. We'll talk about the cabinet reshuffle. You have to change the way you deal with people. You have to change the how do you spend, who do you spend most of your time with? And then have total belief in yourself, as we said earlier on. Because without belief, you cannot achieve big things. Without belief, when you meet an obstacle, you'll be scared and you'll give up. But belief will give you determination. Now, let's look at the don'ts of thinking big. So the first one is, do not fear big things. As we said earlier on, all the big things were done by human beings like you and me. So each time you are feeling doing big things, just know that the people who did, I play a game of squash, and sometimes you'll be playing against a champion or somebody who is very good at squash. And we like to fend off our intimidation by saying, man, you have two hands, I have two hands, you have two legs, I have two legs. Well, I have one racket, you have one racket. So the people who have done big things have two ears like you, one head. They don't have two heads. They don't have two brains. They have one brain like you. So why fear doing big things? There's no reason whatsoever. Do not fear doing big things. And then number two, do not copy others. Determine what you want to be big in. Look at the opportunity, study and think about what you want to do, and that must be unique to yourself, and do it. Don't exactly copy. You can learn lessons from other people, but you do not have to copy other people. And when you are setting out to do big things, don't worry about how you achieve it. You want to build a 4-bedroom house. At the time you're starting, you don't even have the money. You may have just money for one bag of cement. It is okay. People have built mansions starting with one bag of cement, and literally so. I want to give a good example here. I pray at St. Patrick's Parish here in Lilongwe, and in 2021, I was elected chairperson of the later there, and our predecessors had started a big project to expand the church, to make it big and modern. And in the end, we spent 1 billion kwacha over 2 years and 3 months. Because our predecessors thought very big. They were not afraid to think big. When they were beginning to think big, we didn't have the 1 billion. They only had about 120, 150 million kwacha only. But the budget was, I think, 700 million. They embarked on a 700 million kwacha project of the church when they only had 100 million. That's the art of thinking big. And when we came in office, we said, we want to finish this within 2 years before we finish our term of office, which was 3 years. And we did. Along the way, we learned how to raise the money we needed to finish the project. So you achieve big things. Not, first of all, you don't have to wait until you have everything. Then you never achieve anything big. You believe, you start, and you go. Don't think too much about risks. Every big thing or big project, there will be risks. You will talk about you anticipating. You can think about some major risks and how you mitigate them, but they should not be something to stop you. There is no big thing that has no risk. There is no big thing that has no problems. In any major project that you undertake, you meet major challenges and you have to deal with them. Do not listen to naysayers. There will always be people who tell you, no, it's not possible. And that is why when you embark on a big project, don't tell too many people. You tell only 1, 2, 3 people that you really trust and people who have positive mind. The people who who are just headquarters of negative thoughts. They always tell you it's impossible, what, because they are not big thinkers. There's no point in you thinking big and trying to get support of people who don't think big. When you want to think big, if you want to consult people who have done big things, they will say, yes, go on. I was like you, I did this. They'll give you encouragement. There is absolutely no point to discuss the possibilities of big things with people who don't believe. You're just wasting your time and wasting their time as well. But these are the people who, when you do big things, in the end, they come and want to listen to you. So do not waste time with people who don't believe. Don't think about how you fail, because you'll not fail. And even if you fail, so what? But when you're doing big things, let failure be not part of your vocabulary. You want a positive mind, a mind that believes that you'll achieve. Now let's look at the nuts and bolts of doing big things. The first one is just start. Just start. About 3 years ago or 4, I was invited to do a motivational talk at Assemblies of God in Area 23 or Area 36. And I was talking about just go and start building a house, and that I wanted testimony in 6 months' time. 4 months' time, I was at Sun at Area 10 there, and the one driver stopped me, and he came out of his car and was talking to me. He said, thank you. I said, why? He showed me the house he had built, which was now at roofing stage. He says, from that talk, when he told us that we can start with just 100,000 kwacha or 50,000 kwacha, I took 50,000 kwacha, I started building my house, and here I am now roofing it. Because when we discussed, the next day he started, just start. No procrastination. Procrastination is the biggest disease. All of us, to some degree, are tempted to procrastinate. But the big thing doers control procrastination. They kill, they suppress procrastination. When he says maybe tomorrow, immediately they say, no, I'm going to start now. And when they start, there's no idle time. They keep going. And remember, they say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So listen only to those people who contribute to your big dream, people who give you the positive thoughts. This reminds me of the story I usually tell. In November 2013, we were at Rio's Hotel with Dr. Salos Klostima, may so rest in peace. 3-4 friends together with him. And he was telling us that in February of the next year, 2014, he was going to be a running mate to Dr. Peter Ontalika. And some of the friends were doubting him. No, you can't be vice president. No this, no that, no that. I remember very well that he switched off. He was not listening to those negative thoughts, because, and then he just said, I don't mind what you think, but this is happening. I'll be your vice president next year. Did he not become our vice president? Of course he did. People like that, they think very differently. When people who think big, you can't confuse them. You can't sway them to small thinking, because they are big thinkers. So when you want to become a big thinker, do not listen to people who are not in that league. It's a very different ball game. You have now graduated into big thinking. So you've got to be like Saulos Klostima. And number 5, you focus on the big dream. Everything you do, you're focusing on the big dream. When we were building the big church at St. Patrick's Parish, we stopped all small things. When we were budgeting, many other things we suspended for the 2-3 years we were building the church. When you're doing the big thing, I have a friend, he was building a house, and he told me that when they were to move to build a house in Lombard from the city here, he called his family and told them, for the next 2-3 years, everything has to scale down. We will not eat a lot of beef, we will not eat a lot of chicken, we will have a lot of beans and vegetables, because we want to sacrifice and build the house. When they built the house and finished and moved there, they're back to their good meals and good life and all that. It paid off. So when you're doing something big, you've got to sacrifice. A lot of people fail to do big things because they want to live in comfort zone all the time. Thank you, Elliot, that your circle matters. You're right. Yeah. So focus on the big, on the big dream. It means that you have to to focus on that and compromise other things. You got to stop other things to focus on the big dream. Number six is stop everything else. As I mentioned earlier on, remember in the Bible, Peter, Andrew, and the other disciples left everything to become fishers of men. They left everything else behind because they were going to do big things with Jesus Christ. So when you want to do something big, you have to leave something else behind, everything else behind, and focus on the big dream. Davis, you're following. Thank you very much. Number 7, celebrate milestones. When you achieve something, you need to celebrate. You because you want to fuel yourself with belief. You want to fuel yourself with self-confidence. So as you're achieving along the path, you need to celebrate the milestones. Number 8, anticipate that challenges will come along the way. There will be challenges, of course. So have the mindset, be ready that you have challenges. Last year, I joined politics, and at the beginning, I even said that I know I'll meet a lot of challenges along the way. So each time a challenge comes along, my mind is ready. I say, bring it on. I know I'll be meeting these challenges. So it becomes easy to face challenges because I anticipated the kind of challenges I'll meet. So I don't really find any strange surprises. Nothing shocks me because my mind was already ready for those challenges. I don't need to list them down, but there's been no new challenge that I never thought can happen. So even when you're doing anything big, building a house, a wall may fall down, you anticipated it. You may run out of the money, you anticipated it. Prices will go up, you anticipated it. So you're not surprised because managing the mind is very important in dealing with big things. Number 9 is very important now here. Leaving behind the barking dogs. When you drive a vehicle, the dogs will bark. Do you stop driving? So when you are pushing big agenda, there'll be people who be speaking a lot of things. Whatever. You have no time for that. You're a big thinker. You are now graduated into big things. So people will talk and what you have no time for it. Not at all. Not at all. You know, when the vehicle is carrying a beef, that's when more dogs will be actually chasing it. So if you're doing something big and something that is great, more people will be talking, your neighbors, your friends, your peers. Don't worry. It's normal. It's normal for them to do that. Actually, you find that the people who are doing that are not doing big things. People who are doing big things will be actually cheering you. They'll be encouraging you. They'll be supporting you. When you're down, they'll pick you up. So don't worry about the barking dogs. Number 10, remember this, the coalition of the willing. The people who are willing to support you, work with them. The people who don't believe in your idea, leave them behind. It's not your time. It's not your issue to be getting everybody on board. Coalition of the willing. I've always mentioned that when I was IT director at Airtel, one time I was given a project and some people did not believe in it, and I left them behind and worked with the people who believe in it, and we achieved it. So when you want to do big things, you've got to work on the coalition of the willing. Checklist those who are believing in the idea and go with them. And then number 11 is very important. Know when to change course. Your dream remains the same, but along the path, you may find that maybe the path you took is not working. You try hard with determination, doesn't work. Then you may have to change course. Not changing the target, not changing the dream or vision, but changing the path of getting there. It's possible, and you have to do that sometimes. So be ready to change the course, be ready to change the approach, be ready to change the methodology or strategy. Now, I want to move on to what I call the organized small doses. When I was a student at the University of Malaya, the Polytechnic, they now MUBAS, we had a principal, very wise man. The college principal was Mr. Henry Chibana. He's around here in town in Lyon. I must visit this old man. He's done great things for me. He inspired me a lot. He used to tell us, big things come in small doses. Big things come in small doses. I give an example here of Sana. Sana started with one shop at Imponela. It is still there around that corner there. Now Sana have planted shops across the country all over. They started with one shop. But I'm sure they knew that long term they have a chain of shops. They had one shop. After some time, they planted the second one. After some time, they planted the third one. And they've been growing and growing and growing. You can start also small with one saloon. In 10 years' time, you can have 20 saloons across all the 4 or 5 major cities of the country. So start small in one direction. The important things are 2 here. One is starting small. Why small? Because when you start small, you are likely your chance of success is very high because it's a small thing. And when you achieve it, then now you have some belief. Very few people are born with big belief. All of us are born with very basic belief. But the more we achieve, the more we gain self-confidence and self-belief. So you want to start small, you achieve, then you increase, you expand in the direction of your vision. So as you're doing this means you are looking far, but at every moment you're playing one ball. You play a ball, you win, you go the next level, you play another ball, you win, you go, you fail, you pick up yourself, you continue, you keep going. That's how you achieve big things. And remember, every small contribution matters in the big dream. And remember how the lake fills with water, one drop after another. The lake is a collection of trillions and billions and zillions of water drops. Your big dream also will be a collection of small doses of success. It means, therefore, you must master your game in and out. Here we can talk about FDH Bank. Tom Pingaja started as First Discount House. It was a discount house at Umoya House in Blantyre there, and on the highway in Blantyre. And then later on, he reached as a bank with one branch only at Umoya House. He had one branch, Victoria Avenue. After some time, the second branch, and goes. Now it's a bank across the country. So he's built the bank dose after dose, a collection of small doses. I remember sharing stage with Tom Pinganjira around 2012 at Chancellor College. And he said he had just clocked about 7 years. That's when he bought his first Mercedes Benz. He had been using a Nissan X-Trail. When I was at Maswich, I used to see him in Nissan X-Trail. And my official car at that time at Maswich was a Nissan X-Trail. And I was looking at him. This man owns a bank and is driving a car like mine. I mean, why can't he drive something big? I don't know, a Range Rover or VX. I didn't know the man believed that he will change cars when the bank has fully settled, and that was after 7 years. It means he was thinking long term. When he went to Chancellor College in 2012, he brought a Benz. He said in the talk to the Chanco students that he had just bought his Benz after 7 years. And he said the CEO of the bank was driving a Benz, but the owner of the bank was not driving a Benz because the CEO, Tom Pinganjira was paying the CEO comparable to other CEOs of other banks because he's an employee. So the employee was driving a better car, paid more money than the owner of the bank. But today he's not a multi-billionaire. Look at the discipline of people who dream big. It means we have to sacrifice. It means we must be focused on the future. It means we must suffer now to enjoy tomorrow. That's how big thinkers do. People who don't think big enjoy now and suffer later. It's the opposite. So if you want to be a successful person, you need to sacrifice now for you to do better later. Now let's look at the power of determination. Challenges will surely come your way. They always do. And we said, prepare your mind for the challenges. But when you have self-belief, you will surmount those challenges. Because we know that big dreams will also attract big problems. Big problems will come for sure. Tom Pinganjira, when he was setting up the bank, everything was near ready. He was waiting for the license from the central bank. And he invited people from abroad, international, a lot of people at Mansoch. And it was promised that the license will come in time. He was chasing 2 days before. He was promised a day before. Then they told him the license is not coming. People had flown in. He had spent, I think at that time, 24 million. He mentioned 20-something million kwacha. You're talking of around 2005, 2004, or thereabouts. He spent 24 million, which today probably is 100 million or so, for the event, and he had to cancel it. Did he give up? No. When eventually he got the license, he still launched. So when you're doing big things, you also meet big problems, but you surmount them because you believe, you have the courage. And that's why you need the courage. When you're doing big things, you must have self-belief and you must have courage. Just believe in yourself, because other people who have done big things, they've also gone through the big problems. And remember, number 4, a problem shared is half solved. A problem shared is half solved. This means that for you to, when you meet a challenge and you want to deal with the challenge, Sometimes you share, but you must share with people who are positively minded, people who believe in your dream, people who believe in you. They'll give you ideas. They'll support you morally. They'll keep cheering you up, because you need, when chips are down, you want the positive energy. You want to hear that it's still possible. And then number 5, in my Rise and Shine column, the sister channel of communication with the public and motivation, I have been writing last week and this week about lessons from Professor David Edwards, who was my supervisor in Oxford. And last week, one of the items we wrote was that you should sleep over problems. He used to tell me, Matthews, when we'd be in the lab and trying to solve a problem, if we struggle a lot, he said, let's sleep over it. And in the morning, fresh, we would pick up the problem very easily. Later on, I researched to know why that was possible. It's because 80% of our brain comprises the subconscious brain. And apparently, even when you sleep, in deep sleep, the subconscious is still very powerful and is still working on those problems which you didn't solve during the day. And in the morning, the answer is easy, because the brain has been working. Is this not the beauty of nature? Is this not a miracle of God? So let's put to good use this miracle that we have in our brain, the subconscious. Sleep over the big problems. And also remember that every big achiever has gone through big challenges. You're not the first to go through big challenges. You're not the last even. Big challenges will be part of your achieving big things and thinking big things. Now let's move on to burn the boats. This was Hernan Coates, who was born 1485 and died in 1547. Before we talk about him, Julius Caesar is famously quoted as saying, if you want to take an island, burn the boats. Because when you burn the boats, it means there's no way of going back. All your army have to fight tooth and nail and win. If they don't win, they'll be captured, because they're not going to go back. And Hernan Coates, he was a Spanish explorer. And in 1519, he went to Mexico to capture Mexico, because he wanted to get some minerals there and some riches there. And he went with 500 soldiers and 11 ships. When they arrived there in Mexico, he told the soldiers, guys, let's set on fire the 11 ships. So they burnt all the ships there and said, guys, there's no way of going back to Spain. We have to win this war. We have to win this war, because we're not going back home. Else we'll be captured as slaves. They fought tooth and nail until they won the war. So when you want to do something big, you must burn the ships or burn the boats in a figurative manner. You must burn the boats. I'll give an example here. I mean, a personal example. When I was joining politics, I resigned from all the boards, including NBS Bank, Nico, this, whatever. I left being chairman of Master University, because I believed I'm going for something bigger. You know, you've got to do that. You cannot. When you're going for something big, you must be ready to sacrifice. You must be ready to bend the boats, and no apologies. And that's how you achieve big things. You cannot achieve big things if you're not ready, prepared to give up certain things. You have to bend the boats, and it's a mindset issue. It's a mindset issue. A lot of people fail to move into bigness because they're attached to the comfort zone of what they have. They're not prepared to lose what they have for the sake of something bigger. You cannot. The disciples could not be disciples of Jesus Christ if they remained fishermen. They had to give up being fishermen to become disciples. Are they not apostles now? St. Luke, St. that, St. this. If they remained to enjoying catching fish, nobody would have even known them. They would have made no history. They would not be even in heaven anyway. So if you want to achieve something big, you must give up something that is present. You must get out of the comfort zone. Burn your boats. Burn your ships. If you're not prepared to burn your ships, you will never achieve something big. Be prepared to let go. You must learn to say goodbye. Are you prepared to burn your boats? You need to quit. And I have a friend, Charles Sebhaziba. He's actually my former student. I taught him mathematics in Form 3. He's an engineer, a big contractor, one of the biggest contractors in Malawi, one of the biggest civil engineers in Malawi. And he always says that when he was leaving work as a civil engineer in government to set up his company, although he knew he would do well, he wrote a resignation as he was going. He tore it apart. He kept working. After some time, he wrote the resignation. He tore apart his resignation 5 times. The last time he said, I'm not going, I have to do it. So it's never easy, but you must bend the boats. Semba is now a big civil engineer. He's a big entrepreneur. He's employing thousands of people. because he bent the boats. Are you able to quit? Are you able to bend the boats? You have to, if you have to achieve big things. Continuous improvement. Here now is the PDCA model. Thank you, Big Boy Macron. Oh, my brother, Big Boy. Thank you for endorsing this. Good to see you here. Big Boy has been my friend. We're together at Airtel now Standard Bank. Good to see you, Chief. Yeah, so the PDCA model is about plan, identify the opportunity. Have you found opportunity? Now, once you identify the opportunity, you must plan for change. Once you plan for change, you know what you need to change to improve. You must now implement that change. You've got to have the discipline that this is the opportunity and this is the action I need to do. Do that action. So you do the action. Then you check and observe. Has it achieved the impact or result I was expected? And then if yes, then you now implement on a larger scale. If no, then you begin again to plan, to do, and check. So it's a vicious circle. That's why you see on the top right corner there, we said plan, do, check, act, and then plan, do. So you go around until you achieve what you want. This is what I did with people. People ask me, I have shops in Mzuzu. I'm in Longwe, based in Longwe, but I have shops in Mzuzu. People ask me, how do you manage business at a distance and what? But I started with one shop. I had losses. I can tell you, 2022 in June, we launched the shop, reasonable size. Within 3 months, I lost 7 million kwacha. We fired all the staff and put in somebody that I know very well, and then started afresh. The losses came down and came down and came down, and we never gave up until the losses we could live with them. Then we opened the second shop, and then we opened the third shop, and then we kept expanding. That's what you do. If you want to achieve something big, do not be afraid of the losses, the fraud, that you go down, you lose some money. It's part of the game. It's always part of the game. But you want continuous improvement. And then now let's look at the personal cabinet reshuffle. They say, show me your friends and I'll show you the future. So it means, therefore, look at the friends around you. Some are the friends that maybe now, if you want to think big, you may need to spend less time with them. I'm not saying hate them, no, but maybe when now you achieve big things, you can help them to also convert to thinking big. But you cannot be wanting to think big and remain where you were with the same cabinet. You have to reshuffle your personal cabinet. They say you become who you hang out with. Because success is infectious. Have you seen more successful people hang out a lot with fellow successful people? Because we need positive energy. These people give us positive energy. You remember Jesus Christ said, get away from me, Satan. At that top hill there, when Satan was trying to tempt him. But also even to Peter, he told Simon Peter, get away from me, Satan. So Jesus wanted the right energies around him to achieve, to bring down salvation to us, to bring us salvation. Jesus Christ had to surround himself with people who think right. Simon Peter did not believe Jesus can die, so he was wrong. Jesus said, get away, Satan. So we must be ready to get away, to get to positive energy, basically. Remember the national anthem. This is very important. I know it's sensitive, but I must, as a motivational speaker, I must start with this. That's it in Malawi. So when you are trying to achieve big things, these things will come around you. You have to deal with poverty. This is fine, but I'm now talking of jealousy. It'll be part of the game. Don't worry. It'll be part of the game. Remember the barking dogs and what. So you're going this game, you face these things. There's very little you can do about these things. Some of these things we just need to pray for them, some of these things. But also there's the rule of peers. So when you're achieving big things, you find that you'll be having unnecessary tension, friction with peers. You now have to relate a lot more with people below you, people above you, the older people who have gone ahead of you, and people who are coming that you're mentoring below you. You're now expanding your networks. You cannot just be with the same networks. You've got to expand, because within the peers, now that you're setting yourself for an upward trajectory, you'll be having some tension and friction. You will come to experience this as you're growing big and doing big things. And then you need to evolve with time. As time changing, you need to change with time. You want to do big things, but you must study the environment all the time and scan the environment. I want us to look at some case study of some of the people around Malawi that have achieved big things. They're not the only ones, and I've not arranged them in any particular order. I've not arranged them in any particular order. Let's start with the Bright Kamanga. This is my friend in Mzuzu, and he's a friend who has helped me a lot in business there in Mzuzu. For those of you who go to Mzuzu, you probably know Springs Park. Springs Park is a very beautiful natural environment on the road to Nkata Bay. You can do weddings there. There is a gym. There's a pub. There's lots of things there. There's kids place there, and it was a bush 5-7 years ago. It was a bush. But how did he? And he also owns Queen's nightclub and lots of businesses in Mzuzu. He's a friend, and asked him how did he start his journey. He had been in Blantyre, South Africa, and other places. He decided I'll go back to Mzuzu. He went to Mzuzu. Previously, he had been running a pub for his elder brother. When he went back, he found that the building in which they had been running the pub was dilapidated. There was nothing happening. He called the landlord and he said, I've come back here. The building is not being used. Do you mind if I can use it and pay rent after 6 months? He said, yeah, take it. No problem. So he got the building for free for a start. He had very little money, almost nothing, to start the pub. He needed to have the beers and also the ciders. For the beers, he went to one Asian person who was his friend. He asked for him to give him the stocks and that he'll pay back after 1 week. So he was given the stocks using his network, Goodwill. He was given the stocks that he would pay after 1 week. So it means he got the beers. And then for the spirits, again, he didn't have the money, but he asked somebody who was in his networks who could lend him money. He lent him money. He went on a coach to Blantyre to buy the spirits. He brought them. And then he borrowed from a neighbor a music system, and he went into the pub. So he invested near zero. Because I know at the end you'll be asking, where do I get the capital? Look at how creative people can be. The building, he spent nothing on the rent for 6 months. The beers, he asked somebody whom he knew very well to lend him the beers for free. For the spirits, he borrowed the money from somebody who trusted him and went to Blantyre and borrowed those. So he spent almost that musical system. He borrowed from a neighbor. And then he sent SMS to 60 people that he knew were his good customers when he had been there 5 years ago. He said, I'm back, and let's meet at Old Bill. And that day, all of them came because of the goodwill he had. He says the beer he had bought, he thought it would last 1 week. It finished. He started at 5 p.m. By 9 p.m., all the 1 week beer was finished. He had to go around the town to buy some more and more and more and more. The next day, he paid back the loans and got some more stocks and went on and went. Today, the man owns a lot of businesses, including the Big Springs Park. This is how people think big and achieve big. They may start with very little and still achieve big things. Why is it a pity? Why is it a pity? Most of you probably know him. Spark Systems, the owner of Spark Systems, the young engineer, 10-40 this year or last year. And he owns this 7-story big building in Lilongwe City Center next to the banks. And he launched it recently. It's worth billions. And he owns an IT company. He started small, around 2013. I remember when I was at Airtel, I was the first one to give him a contract. We gave him a contract. And the rest is history. He's now international. He's in Rwanda, he's in Zambia, he's in DRC. He started with one contract, but he believed in himself, kept building. There were just 3 of them when they were starting the company, 2 engineers and 1 salesperson. No secretary, nothing. Now he employs dozens, if not hundreds of people. Tom Pinganjira, I've mentioned already the story of the discount house. Napoleon Zombe, the old man, I think many of you know the story. John Takoma, Mibawa TV. John Takoma had a Mibawa pub in Blantyre, opposite Royals Hotel. Then later on, he had Mibawa band. He bought the big equipment for them. They were hiring out. Then as he was doing this business, he was building Mibawa Park in Limbi there. And then later on, he started the Mibawa TV, small and growing and growing. There he is today. So these people have done big things. They start small and grow in small doses. Dr. Rex Harawa, MG Global, is a friend, and I've talked to him. I talked to him in 2010 to understand how he started. He was a partner at one of the major audit firms. He quit and he went with the 12 auditors and he got one contract after another. Now MG Global is one of the biggest audit firms in Malawi. From the lady side, Dr. Joyce Banda, the former president of Malawi, she told me the story of how at the age of 29 she decided, I want to do big things. I want to impact women and the youth. She took a personal decision at the age of 29 that she wants to do big things in the community. And by just deciding to do big things, eventually she became a minister, vice president, and even president of this country. It started in her mind wanting to do big things. She decided doing big things is a choice. Sarah Nzunda, very interesting. Thank you. Doing big things is a choice. Rachel Mijiga, my friend Rachel Mijiga, we're together in college, same year. We're together at Airtel. So we've been together for many years, from 1997, going towards 30 years. And Rachel, when we were together at Airtel, she was head of enterprise business. And I remember those times she was telling me, I'll leave now. I now need to become a CEO. She quit Airtel and she took a career break. She was doing her things and what. And I remember checking on her and I saw some advert somewhere for head. What she said, is it CEO? I said, no, it's head. She said, I'm done with being head. I'm going to be CEO. Is she not the CEO of Magla now? She is CEO, an amazing lady. And this Rachel is always reading a book. Rachel is always reading books about people who have achieved, about becoming big. And I think she'll be an inspiration to many, especially the female members, because I wanted a bit of balance here, that even the women examples that I have here. Edith Gia, my friend Edith Gia, she's been CEO of Old Mutual Group. She was in business there, became manager, became director, became acting MD, became a full MD of one of the companies, became a group CEO of Old Mutual Malawi, expanded the Old Mutual Malawi, became a very big enterprise. And last year, was she not promoted to regional role in South Africa, where she is now? It's possible because she thinks big and keeps building on her success one after another. Professor Grace Malata, she was a nurse she was a nurse from KCN, graduate, and then became associate lecturer, climbed the ladders, and became deputy or vice principal of KCN, became principal, did amazing things there. And when Masti had advertised for a vice chancellor, she applied for it and kept going. These are people who think big all the time. And was she not the best vice chancellor I've seen around recently? Because she thinks big all the time. All the time she is thinking big. I was a board chair, so I worked with her for a number of years. I know how she thinks and how she does things. She's always thinking big. She's always expanding the horizon. When you see her doing big things, it's because she's always expanding her horizon. Really, and thank you very much for saying doing big things is a choice. And Catherine Gotani-Hara, hate or like her, politician, she's done great. I mean, she's heading one of the three arms of government. She's Speaker of Parliament. She's a lady, and she's always built her career slow but sure in politics. And there she is in a very big portfolio because she thinks big. So thinking big is what will make you big. You not become big by accident. You choose to become big. You choose to achieve big things. Let me now, before we wind up, let me talk about, before we wind up and then open up for questions and answers, I want to talk about rising from the abyss or coming from a point of impossibility. 3 examples. Number one, I have, one time we had a security guard, Mr. Magona from G4S. He was with us at home and he was reading to repeat Form 4. He repeated Form 4. He got reasonable good grades. He applied for Malay police. He was picked. He was trained. Now he's a full police officer. When I drive on the Lakeshore Road, time and again, he knows my vehicle. He stops me and we talk. He's a police officer. I'm sharing this story with his consent. So it's possible to come from the abyss. This is a man who's a security guard. Now he's a security officer. On point to use present as stepping stone and not your daily bread. Thank you, Holmes Barton. So here's Mr. Magona, who is now a police officer. He was a guard. Can you imagine? Some people they think I'm condemned to be a guard. If you love it, fine, but you can do more than that for sure. To earn more, lead a better life, we should be climbing. So that's an example of Magona. I have another example that I'll not mention the name, but Recently, there was a young man who was a graduate from a public university. He had a job for 2 years or so. Unfortunately, he lost the job and he was jobless for about a year and doing nothing, staying alone. The only job he could find, his neighbor owns a security company, and he has to be a guard because that's 1 year. These jobs are difficult. He has to be a guard, but this security man or the owner of the security company said, "I'll assign you to somebody who might be of help." So this guy has been a guard at my house for 2 weeks. After 10 days, he tells me, "But by the way, I'm a graduate. Here's my degree." I'm like, "Now look." A week before this, I told my wife, I said, "This guard I've never seen. He's very sharp. He's very alert. He's very unique. He's very different." Only to not to learn later that he's actually a graduate. I felt so sorry. And within days, I changed him and employed him into as a salesman. But the point I'm making there is that he was in abyss. He was in a point of impossibility. But he believed, "I'll pick any job and rise from there. I'll pick any job and rise from there." He picked a job of a guard. This is a graduate. He picked a job of a night guard. But now he's back in the mainstream as a salesman. So the point is, pick yourself up. Even if you're in the abyss, pick yourself up and rise up. I want now to give a very big testimony. Kondwani Msimuko, he's the acting CEO of Ilovo Sugar, one of the biggest companies in Malawi. He is a chartered accountant. He was one of the youngest people to become partner at Deloitte and Touch. And he went to Ilovo a few years ago as a finance director. And recently, his boss was promoted to the UK and is now acting MD and CEO of Ilovo. Again, I'm sharing with the consent. In the year 2000, when I was year 4 at the Polytechnic, I went back to my school, St. Patrick's Seminary, and taught mathematics for one term there. Kondwan was in Form 4. I taught him mathematics. He was one of the top 2 mathematics students, and together we even did additional mathematics. We covered 4 terms in one term. He was very good in maths. Now, I'll explain what makes him great. It's because he had an experience. Kondwani finished Form 4 as one of the top 20 students or so at MSc in Malawi. But he was not selected to university because of the human error. His name was missed on selection due to Hello, everyone. Please confirm if we're back online. We had a technical glitch, but the marvelous revelation has resolved it. Please confirm that you can see us. Apologies for the glitch we had. I think we are back online. We had a bit of a glitch, but the revelation has resolved it. I was talking about Konrad Msimuko. He was missed on selection to university due to human error, and the university said they cannot change that. I had to wait 1 year. I tried to convince Konrad Msimuko to wait for 1 year and be selected the next year. He was very disappointed and he said, "No, I'll not wait 1 year. I've no time to waste. I'm going to Malay College of Accountancy." And thank you, Lillian. You said this has made my night. I'll pick myself up. Thanks to hear that, Lillian Banda. So Konrad Msimuko went to MCA and said, "I'll prove University of Malawi wrong." He went to MCA in a record time. He finished and became a chartered accountant. Went to Deloitte. He went there in a junior position. We were in touch all the time. He was always motivated and said he wants to show that he can use alternative path to greatness, to doing big things. He became a chartered accountant, got other qualifications, and in the shortest period of time, he became a young partner at Deloitte. He was sent to South Africa on attachment. He was once an acting CEO at the Opportunity Bank. He did lots of amazing things there because of his belief to doing big things. Later on, Lekan Katandro, who had been his boss at Deloitte, was CEO at Ilovo, and Konrad followed suit there as finance director. Today, he's acting CEO of a very big company in Malawi because he rose from the abyss. He rose from a position others would think is impossible. Because in life, when you want to do big things, you fall down, but pick up your pieces and rise again because you believe you do the big things. You still do. The dream lives on. The dream lives on. You may change the path, you may be delayed, but the dream lives on. And that's the story of Konrad Msimuko. So examples of big thinking, you could think to rise to managing director or CEO of a company. You could think of starting a business and growing big. You can see this park building on top right there. That's by Wisely Piri, a couple of billions for that building to have been constructed over 5 years or so. You can think of building a big house for yourself or a big church where you go, starting a big charity or NGO. You could think of having a big community impact like Joyce Banda did, or becoming a big sports person, a big musician. You could set up a big drama group or drama company as did Duji Caesar Jr. Or you could build a big Kangombe house as did the old man before us. So let's look at practical illustrations. I want to do now this let's get our hands dirty. Do you know that maize has become gold? The golide. Chimanga the golide Malawi. People are making millions literally with maize. So I'm putting illustrations here. I'm not a farmer, but our friends who are farmers. And one of them is here. I'll not mention the name, but he gave me the numbers. And I validated another one as well. So I'm assuming that you grow maize and you want to become a millionaire with farming maize. We start with 1 acre. And let's look at what do you need to farm in 1 acre. You rent a land. So you don't have a piece of land. You want to rent for 1 year. You pay 100,000, could be 80,000, 100,000, thereabouts. You need 4 bags of fertilizer for 1 acre of maize. And that roughly is 400,000 because a bag of fertilizer is roughly 100,000. Labor will be 150, 180,000. Let's call it 200,000 kwacha. You need to treat the maize to keep it because you harvest the maize maybe in May, June, and want to keep the maize until January, February when the prices are at peak, because we want to sell at maximum price. So you need treatment and storage about 100,000 for the maize that you get from your 1 acre. And the other costs, maybe transport, management, and other things. Let's call it, Miriam Pachalo Kachali, my friend, welcome back. You're a farmer too. Oh, let's exchange notes. Please share your experiences. So the total cost will be about 1 million kwacha, 1 acre of maize. Now, let's look on the right side there, the income. I've validated this. If you're applying 4 bags of fertilizer, you apply very well, you take care of your maize very well at the right time, you are likely to get 45 bags of maize. Right now, a bag of maize is 100,000 kwacha, right now, January, February. So it means 45 bags will be 4.5 million. Remember, we spent 1 million. it means your profit will be 3.5 million. Correct? We're together. This is mathematics, straightforward. Now, if you do 10 acres, you have 3.5 million profit times 10 acres, which is 35 million profit. If you go 20 acres, it will be 70 million kwacha profit, which if you want to give yourself a salary per month, it will be almost 6 million a month. So if you can grow 20 acres of maize, you'll be earning 6 million kwacha a month, which is a salary of a senior manager in big companies. Now, let's look at what you could achieve over 7 years. Now we're thinking big. We're in class. We're thinking big. Let's go slow. So we said 1 acre. In year 1, 2025, you will harvest next year, 2026. Year 1, the number of acres is 1. The capital required is 1 million. So that one is 1 million. That's capital. And the profit we have redirected will be 3.5 million. Thank you, Cecilia, rising from the abyss. Yes. And now we are saying from the 3.5 million, take $500,000 kuzibe pesa pena pake. So you get the 3 million reserved as capital for year 2. So in the year 2, harvesting 2027, you start with 3 million. It means now you can do 3 acres. You do 3 acres times 3.5 million profit per acre is 10.5 million profit. 1.5 kuzibe pesa. So 9 million goes in. 9 million now you can go to 9 acres. In year 3, 2028, you will harvest the $45 per acre times the 9. You get the 3.5 million per acre. 3.5 million per acre times 9 acres, you have 31.5 million. Again, 1.5 million, kuzibe pesa. You take 30 million, year 4, 29 harvest. You grow now 30 acres. Your output will be 105 million kwacha profit. Now, we'll not jump to 100 acres. Let's move from 30 acres to 50 acres, baby steps, because we want also to be practical and realistic. With 50 acres in year 5, now your profit will be 175 million. If you add, going back, 175 million, plus the profit of the year before 105 million, that's 280 million, plus the 31 million, that's 310 million or so, plus 10 million, 320. So in 5 years, you have achieved 310, 320 million. Let's imagine things didn't work to optimum level. So at half level, it will be 150 million. You're not bad off. So you can see here from this table, and if you can take a picture of this, you can become a millionaire having started with 1 million kwacha. Now, what will be the problems here? I know some of you think, yeah, maybe there'll be drought. What are you good? Pray for good rains. Big people start. Problems may come, we'll solve them there. Don't worry. Don't worry. The last 3-4 years we've had good rain. We will have good rain. When you have bad rain, you pick up yourself, you keep going. When you make bumper yield, keep some money for the bad day. But this is how big people achieve it. This is how Miriam is doing it. Alimitiribo. Thank you, Samson. Oh yeah. Thank you, my friend, Father Samson. Yes, I should have talked to you as well. I know you do soybeans and maize. You're one of the big farmers. So this is the way to go. Farming has become mining in Malawi. It's the way to go. This is the mathematics. And therefore, as I end to open up for question and answer, we have about 15-20 minutes for question and answer. I want to end by saying the best way to predict the future is to create it. And winners never quit, but quitters never win. Do not be a quitter, be a winner. Thinking out of the box, thinking big. Thanks, my brother Victor Genda. Oh, you're here. Good to see you. All right, so let's open up for question and answer. I'll be pleased to get your questions. Please feel free to ask questions. Revelation, you can flag some of the questions. Thank you, Lulu Malik. Oh, my brother Lulu, you're here. Good to hear from you. I want questions now. I know there's a bit of delay there, but now, so we are looking at an example. Oh, Rashid, my brother is here from Rumpi. Good to see you here. We're talking about farming as an example there. So what will be the key determinants for you to really achieve? First is that you need to believe that it's possible. You need to believe that you can start small and grow. You start with one acre. With that table, you keep following it. At some stage, you may do half. Actually, you'll be surprised. Sometimes you even overachieve. When I quit work in 2023, I had a plan of what I would do in my business and what I would achieve over 5 years. By luck, I achieved in year 2 what I thought I would achieve in year 6. So sometimes you can even do faster. Tawonga, you have a question here. Let's look from Tawonga. Tawonga is saying, how can I send my question through? Oh yeah, no, just on the chat here. The best way to predict the future is to create. Thank you. Chindevu, this lecture has come at the right time. Thank you. If there are no questions, then we will stop there, but I'll still give 3-4 minutes in case there are questions. Just type the questions and we will answer them here. What's your take on the mining industry, Doc, in regards to our part as the youth? Yeah. How to break through when the market is uncertain due to unstable economic conditions, right? So mining industry, and then price unstable. I mean, that business, I actually myself, unstable. All right. So in terms of mining industry, I think the mining industry is one of the places to be because there are big millions, big dollars, especially in this economy. You see, in this economy, I was telling 2 friends last week, I was saying this time now for us who are in business, it's time for us to also delve into business that brings in direct dollars. So it means export or mining. So mining is definitely one of the most lucrative to go in. Just know that in the mining business, it will take time for you to learn. It takes time for you to really settle there. But once you settle, you will make big, big, big money. As a young person, I would encourage you to go there. I know a young person who is doing mining. So if you want to get in touch, that I connect with somebody who is doing a young man, a young graduate is doing mining. He has a company fully fledged and is learning. He's very organized, and I encourage you. Somebody has asked about the price instability. Correct. I mean, this business have shops and the wholesalers and all these kind of things. You go buy on Monday, you go buy again on Wednesday. It's different price, or even the same day. I think that I'll think differently. I'll say this. You know, if you are on a salary, it means that your salary was fixed in January, and it is only next year when it will go up again by 15 or 20%. But if you're in business, you buy at 100 kwacha, you sell at 120 kwacha. Next time you go and buy at 120 kwacha, you sell at 145 kwacha. So the beauty about business is that as price is increasing, it means your margins are also increasing. You are buying at higher price, you sell at higher price. The sad reality is that people who are in business, they suffer, but they suffer less than people who are on salary. So I think you should not worry much about the price instability of the economy. Those are the issues for the government to sort. Meanwhile, do business. It's a mindset issue. You know, those are problems of Minister of Trade and what. Let them deal with that. You play the game. You know, in football, you go to play the football. You don't expect that there will be rain. There's now rain there. You play. The ball is harder to shoot. You still shoot. The game doesn't stop. So this is the mindset. You continue. You just play and play until the rain stops. It's hot. You still play. How do we address an issue to do with capital? You may think big, but finances. Oh, brother, Prince Anderson. Yay! My brother, you're here. So you remember the example I gave of Bright Kamanga. He started a pub with zero capital. The building, he asked the landlord, he talked to him nicely, can I use for free for 6 months? He said, yes, why not? Then for the beers, he asked, can I pay next week? They said, yes, why not? For the ciders, he went and borrowed the money and went to Brandon. So just be creative, Bana Henderson. The big capital is your idea. Matthew Gantonga, my friend, I'm always inspired by Dr. Mtumbuga, and through your teaching, I'm trying to establish my business, however it's hard in Malawi to get certified in some business. Anything you start, Bana Gantonga, don't worry, it's always hard, but you shall celebrate in the end. Don't worry. Solve those problems, keep believing until you come back with the testimony. Elias Malitoli, from your example, it shows subsistence which has not produced good quality and good quantity that is good for formal markets. How can you people to go into some business? Where is that one? Let's start with Achabe. I came there, I mentioned about the final year project, which was a renovation, but okay, thank you. May you comment? Oh, these are moving. May you comment on legal and regulatory requirements for small scale business startups? No, I think in terms of legal regulatory requirements, you go to the Ministry of Trade, they will give you what is required for each and then industry. Libani Chirambo, how can we adopt the Malawi made fertilizer organic to boost our farming into a large scale? What can be done? Take into account that inorganic is an affordable. Now, I think this one I'll refer you to specialists into farming. I'm not a farmer, but I think farmers here can help address. Can farmers help to answer Lombani Chirambo about the organic fertilizer and this? I was just giving a business illustration there. May you comment on okay, when I was Revelation? Any other questions? How can we adopt? If there are any other questions, flag them. We have 5 minutes. So if you have a question, please place your question here. Rams Msuka, good to see you, my brother. Good to see that you're here. Yeah, any other question? Otherwise, then I think we'll be winding up. So it's been great having you all here, and thank you for the valuable comments. We will feedback you. We will answer those which you have not been able to answer. We've answered some of them, and be on the lookout for the 12th Rise and Shine webinar. We should be doing it probably in March or in April. But Kantonga, I'm very interested to learn more about starting a charity NGO, what it takes to. All right, we'll look at that in one of the next series. So otherwise, I'd like to thank you all for attending this webinar, and in a very special way, I'd like to thank Revelation Yirongo, without whom I cannot do these things. He's always helping, and one day we'll tell his full story. He's also achieved his own big things as a young man. He started small, but here he is. So good luck, and we will share, as somebody else will share the PDF, and you can go to www.mtumbuka.org, and my team will put the slides there, as we always do, and you can also follow us on this Facebook page. Thank you very much. Do be there again next time. Thank you, Joseph, for the love, and love back to you. Big up, Michael Chamanga. Oh, Michael, you're here as well. Thank you very much. See you next time, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.